The story begins with Iris, a young woman walking through a supermarket. Her eyes meet Josh's, a guy who's having a bit of a clumsy moment. Oranges spill out of his hands, and the two share a laugh. Time jumps forward, and Iris wakes up in a car with Josh driving. They're on their way to a secluded lake house, so remote that the road doesn't even appear on a map. As they arrive, Iris hesitates. She's nervous about meeting Josh's friends and worries she might embarrass him. Maybe we should just go back, she suggests. Josh reassures her with a smile. Just act happy, and everything will be fine, he says. At the door, they're greeted by Kat, Josh's friend, who barely acknowledges Iris until Josh introduces her. Inside, they meet Patrick and Eli, a couple who seem warm and friendly, and Sergey, the Russian owner of the house. Iris compliments the place, and Sergey casually mentions he bought all the surrounding land for absolute privacy. After settling into their room, Iris takes a shower, trying to shake off the nerves. Later, the group gathers together, and Patrick shares the story of how he and Eli met. It's a funny tale. Eli was wearing a dinosaur costume at a party, and Patrick accidentally stepped on his tail. The mood is light, but when the conversation turns to Sergey, things take a slightly darker tone. When asked about his work, Sergey simply says, "My hands are dirty, just like my job." Meanwhile, Kat and Iris share a brief but revealing conversation. Kat admits, almost casually, that she does whatever Sergey wants. She belongs to him, even though he has a wife. She quickly adds, "You didn't need to know that," leaving Iris puzzled. When Iris suggests that Kat must hate her, Kat responds with a cryptic,
It's not that I don't like you, Iris. It's the idea of you. You make me feel so replaceable.
The comment hangs in the air, heavy with unspoken tension. Later that evening, the mood shifts. Eli starts dancing, and one by one, the others join in. For a moment, it feels like a carefree gathering. Laughter, music, and movement filling the room. But as Iris looks around, she notices she's suddenly alone. Kat is with Josh on the other side of the room, their closeness sparking a flicker of jealousy in Iris. She walks over, takes Josh's hand, and leads him away. That night, Iris and Josh make love, but as soon as their moment passes, Josh falls asleep almost instantly, leaving Iris awake and contemplative. The next morning, as they prepare for a day at the lake, Josh casually asks Iris about the weather. She responds with a detailed forecast.
It's currently 72 degrees with an 83% chance of rain in the evening.
Josh tells her to go ahead to the lake, promising he'll join her after a shower. Iris agrees, unaware that as soon as she leaves, Josh plugs a flash drive into his phone, a small, secretive act that hints at something deeper. At the lake, Iris discovers a knife in her pocket. She has no idea how it got there, but she quickly hides it when Sergey approaches. Feeling uneasy, she considers heading back to Josh, but Sergey strikes up a conversation. He talks about the beauty of the lake house, hoping she's enjoying her time there. His words are smooth, almost convincing her to stay a little longer. Then, he asks her to put sunscreen on his back. When she hesitates, he grabs her hand, insisting it was Kat's idea. Iris, now visibly uncomfortable, tells him to stop. The scene takes a dark turn as Iris stumbles into the house, drenched in blood and clutching a knife. Her hands shake as she explains what happened. Sergey had attacked her, forcing himself on her, and she fought back. She grabbed a bottle, hit him over the head, and he fell. But when she tried to leave, he lunged at her, choking her. In a desperate act of self-defense, she pulled out the knife and stabbed him in the neck. Josh's reaction is chillingly calm. Instead of comforting her, he simply says,
"Iris, go to sleep."
Bam! Here comes the twist. Before Iris can process his coldness, the others tie her to a chair. When she wakes up, Josh is sitting across from her, his expression unreadable. Iris pleads her case, insisting it was self-defense and that she's telling the truth, but Josh cuts her off, revealing a bombshell. Iris isn't human. She couldn't tell lies even if wanted to because she is programmed that way. He tells her she's a companion robot, designed for emotional support and intimacy.
I hate the word fuckbot, because you do so much more than that, but you're an emotional support robot.
At first, Iris laughs, thinking it's some twisted joke, but Josh proves it. He asks her about the weather, and instantly, her voice shifts to a monotone, robotic recitation of facts.
Iris, what's the weather?
It's currently 72 degrees with an 83% chance of rain in the evening.
He changes her settings, making her speak Spanish and Chinese effortlessly. Her memories are all fabricated. The grocery store meeting? A programmed scenario Josh could have chosen at random. In reality, she was delivered straight to his home, ready to sync with him through a love link by scanning his face. Her entire existence revolves around obeying his commands. If he ever wants to reset her, all he has to do is press a sensor behind her right ear. Josh syncs her with his phone, and as the system updates, he commands her to establish a love link. Iris's eyes glaze over as artificial memories of their relationship flood her mind. When she wakes up again, she fully accepts her role as his partner.
Oh, God!
But even after learning the truth, Iris insists she feels emotions, pain, longing, and a deep desire to stay with Josh, to live as a real couple. Josh, however, knows better. For him, such a life is impossible. As Kat walks in, she tells Josh to shut Iris down, sparking an argument that distracts him from the emotional weight of the moment. As Josh and Kat argue, Iris spots her knife on the floor. Quietly, she begins to free herself from the chair. When Josh steps closer, she strikes suddenly, grabbing the phone that controls her and bolting out the door. Eli, distracted by something else, doesn't notice her escape. Outside, Josh reveals a startling truth. He's hacked into Iris's system, unlocking functions she was never meant to have. He's boosted her aggression and self-defense capabilities, allowing her to harm others, something she was originally programmed to avoid. Calmly, he admits he orchestrated Sergei's death. While Sergei was involved in illegal activities, Josh's motive wasn't justice. It was the $12 million hidden in Sergei's safe. Eli pieces it together, realizing the trip was a setup from the start. Eli and Patrick were just invited to corroborate their story. Josh explains the money will be split 3 ways, between himself, Kat, and Eli. But Eli insists Patrick should get a share too. That's when we realize the next surprise. Patrick isn't human either. He's a companion robot, just like Iris. Eli made him sleep so that he wouldn't hear their conversation about him. With Patrick on board, the group sets off into the woods. Josh's goal is simple: get close enough to Iris and use a voice command to shut her down. Eli grabs a gun from Sergei's safe and the hunt begins. Wait, if you're hooked by these jaw-dropping revelations, don't forget to like and subscribe for more recaps. Back to the story. While the others prepare to search the woods, Iris makes a crucial discovery. She knows Josh's password. With full access to her system settings, she wastes no time. She changes her eye color, adjusts her voice, and, most importantly, boosts her intelligence from 40% to 100%. Suddenly, the world feels sharper, clearer, and her options expand. Iris begins to strategize. Hitchhiking is too risky with blood on her clothes. Walking? Too slow. Then it hits her. Josh's phone controls his car. That's her ticket out. She starts moving toward the vehicle, but Eli and Patrick appear, forcing her to hide behind a tree. While searching for her, Patrick starts reminiscing about how he and Eli met at a party. He casually admits he knows he's a robot. Surprising Eli, Patrick hopes Eli won't alter his programming the way Josh did with Iris. Before Eli can respond, Iris's phone rings, shattering the quiet. Eli pulls out his gun, shouting her name. Iris bolts. Eli fires a shot, and the chase begins. They split up to corner her, but Eli catches up first, tackling her to the ground. In the struggle, the gun slips from his hand. Both scramble for it. A single shot echoes through the woods. Eli collapses, lifeless. Patrick, witnessing the scene, is paralyzed with shock. Josh chases after her as she reaches the car. In a desperate move, she injures his hand and jumps inside. The car, however, doesn't recognize her voice and refuses to start. Thinking quickly, Iris uses her voice settings to mimic Josh's. The engine roars to life. She floors it, running over Josh's foot in her escape. Back at the house, Josh grabs Sergei's phone and reports his car as stolen. Moments later, the vehicle shuts down on the side of the road, locking Iris inside. Josh calls her, his tone eerily calm. He tells her he forgives her, that they can start over, but Iris doesn't hesitate. She breaks up with him. Furious, Josh turns to Patrick, ordering him to capture Iris. When Patrick doesn't react, Josh unlocks Eli's phone, resets Patrick, and establishes a new love connection between them. With Patrick now under his control, Josh sends him after Iris, determined to regain the upper hand. Iris smashes the car window and escapes just as a sheriff arrives on the scene. Desperate to buy time, she switches her language settings to German, leaving the sheriff baffled as he tries to understand her.
Guten Abend. Was für ein schöner Abend.
What is that you're speaking there, German?
His confusion deepens when he spots a bloody knife inside the car. Putting the pieces together, he moves to arrest her. But before he can, Patrick arrives. Testing out his newfound aggression, Patrick throws a punch, knocking the sheriff unconscious. He then takes control, hijacking the police car with the sheriff and Iris tied up in the trunk and returns home. Back at the house, Kat has had enough. The chaos and bloodshed are too much. She tells Josh she's done. Too many innocent people have died, including Sergei. She reveals that Sergei had mentioned being involved in farming, which Josh had assumed was code for illegal activities. But Kat now realizes Josh misunderstood everything. Josh, unwilling to let her leave, orders Patrick to stop her. Without hesitation, Patrick stabs Kat in the back. She stumbles to the bed, collapsing beside Iris as the life drains from her. Patrick, unfazed, calmly prepares a meal for Josh. Josh wakes Iris, insisting on one final dinner together. He blames her for everything that's gone wrong, but Iris fires back, reminding him that he's the one who used her as a tool to get rich. Enraged, Josh makes a horrifying decision. He reduces Iris's intelligence from 100% to 0%, stripping away her autonomy. Since Iris had once claimed she could feel pain, Josh decides to test it. He orders her to hold out her hand, then holds a candle underneath it. As the flames burn her synthetic skin, she reacts with visible agony. Josh, indifferent, calls the robot manufacturing company to report a malfunction, but when her hand catches fire, he finally calls Patrick for help, his tone more annoyed than concerned. With a cold, commanding tone, Josh orders Iris to take the gun, place it against her head, and pull the trigger. She obeys, her body collapsing as the shot rings out. When the team from the robotics company arrives, he plays the grieving victim, insisting that Iris malfunctioned and slaughtered everyone at the lake house. The team, Sid and Teddy, listens to his story. As they inspect Iris, Sid pauses, his brow furrowing. This police officer looks familiar, he mutters, glancing at the fake sheriff. Josh, sensing trouble, quickly tries to agree, brushing it off. But Sid isn't finished. He reveals a critical detail. Iris has recorded everything she witnessed. The footage isn't stored in her head, it's in her abdominal compartment. The evidence is intact. Josh's face pales as the weight of Sid's words sinks in. The team already knows he jailbroken Iris, and now they have proof of his crimes. As they prepare to transport Iris, setting her up for a system reboot on the way, Patrick suddenly steps in front of their vehicle. Sid recognizes Patrick now. He's one of their earliest models, long out of production. Before anyone can react, Patrick pulls out a gun and opens fire. Sid is killed instantly, and Teddy barely escapes, running for his life as Patrick gives chase. As chaos unfolds, Iris reboots and rises to her feet. Nearby, Patrick has caught Teddy and is choking him. Iris rushes in with a taser, ready to intervene, but she quickly realizes her system reset has locked her ability to harm anyone. Patrick snatches the taser from her and turns it on her, but Iris doesn't fight back. Instead, she speaks the truth. She tells Patrick about Josh's manipulation, how he used him just like he used Eli. Josh never cared about Patrick. He only saw him as a tool, a weapon. Something shifts in Patrick's expression as memories of Josh's control flood his mind. Iris reminds him she can't lie, and deep down, Patrick knows she's right. Patrick believes her. Instead of fighting, he makes a heartbreaking decision. He turns the taser on himself, ending his own life. Heartbroken but determined, Iris turns to Teddy for help. Meanwhile, Josh is oblivious to the unfolding drama. He's busy packing up the $12 million, convinced he's won. But then, a familiar song plays in the other room, pulling his attention. He follows the sound, stopping dead in his tracks when he sees Iris standing there. Something about her is different. Thanks to Teddy, she's now in full control of her system. Josh's commands no longer work on her. To prove it, she fires a shot next to him. Her message is clear. She's in charge now. Josh freezes, realizing for the first time that Iris doesn't need him. He takes a cautious step forward, testing her resolve. She warns him to stay back, but there's a flicker of hesitation. She still loves him. Josh sees his chance and lunges, slamming her against the wall. He doesn't need the phone to control her anymore. Now he manipulates her through her own emotions. He forces her to admit she can't live without him, smashing her head against the floor until she finally breaks. Satisfied, Josh picks up the gun and points it at her stomach. "Goodbye," he says coldly, ready to pull the trigger. But Iris isn't done yet. In a final act of defiance, she grabs a wine opener and drives it into Josh's head. He collapses, lifeless. After everything, Iris takes a long, quiet shower. She peels away the burned skin on her hand, revealing the metallic frame beneath. Dressed and ready, she grabs the $12 million, loads it into Sergei's car, and drives off into the night. While driving away, she sees another man driving with a companion identical to Iris. Iris smiles and waves her robotic hand, to the other companion's confusion. Well, that's the end of this recap. If you enjoyed this movie, consider subscribing for more interesting stories. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.